Today we're getting into the latest Tesla news, including new Model Y Juniper leaks pointing to a very different design, Tesla's new Apple Watch app, Model 3 performance in the real world, and more. So let's get into it, and a special thanks to Recurrent for sponsoring this video. First up today, one of the best parts about owning a Tesla is the Tesla app. It's a fantastic app, and for most owners, that is the key to their car. I usually recommend carrying the key card as a backup in case your phone dies or anything happens with that connection, but for the most part, you walk up to the car, it unlocks, you walk away, and it locks for you automatically. At this point, it's almost flawless. But Apple has never made an Apple Watch app, and that would really take it to the next level for users of the Apple Watch. For one, some people like to travel around with the Apple Watch without their phone, and having an Apple Watch app would allow you to unlock and lock your Tesla from it. Plus, you can just do normal commands from your wrist to your car. Now it seems that Tesla is indeed working on a dedicated Apple Watch app, allowing you to select car controls directly from your watch. For now, it will allow you to control one vehicle at a time, but I'm assuming you'll be able to scroll through them like you can on the current app. And the timeline for the release is set for Tesla's holiday update. This is a regular update that they do around December, and it's become kind of a tradition to see what features Tesla packs into that update. Sometimes there's a lot of amazing stuff there, and sometimes it's just kind of a holiday update that's a little bit of a letdown, but I think an Apple Watch app would be great to see here. We've seen some third-party Apple Watch apps, but it's a different thing when the OEM makes it themselves and actually does a really great job integrating it. Next up in software is the Banish Park feature. Right now, Tesla has Actually Smart Summon, where the car will pull out of a parking spot and come to you in a parking lot. It's gotten a lot better over previous years and is improving in real time in front of us. But Banish would do essentially the opposite. You would get to your destination, it would pull you into the front for full self-driving, let's say, and then you get out of the car and it goes and seeks a parking spot for you. This is absolutely part of the dream of future self-driving technology, and Tesla has talked about adding this feature. Now it looks like they will be adding this, and it includes features like creating a parking map, displaying lot occupancy, and notifying users of the parked location once it gets there. They're anticipating a release of this sometime in October as part of full self-driving, but we wouldn't be surprised if this now gets pushed a little bit into November. Then in Tesla's app version 4.38, it's bringing a number of enhancements. For one, in iOS 18, users can add Tesla commands to the control center on their phone for quick access. That's where you swipe down from the top of your phone and you have a bunch of controls right there. This is much more customizable in iOS 18, and now if you want a trunk open button or a car unlock button, anything you want, you can put it right there. This is really great to see, and another big improvement that we're seeing from Tesla with their software ecosystem. On top of this, offline commands are now becoming available through the app. In the past, certain commands didn't work unless you were connected to internet and the car was connected to internet, because that's how it transmitted those commands. But now, if you're within Bluetooth range, you'll also be able to use the app for certain commands. And then comes some features to voice. For one, the voice within navigation is seeing an update. Some users are already seeing a much improved voice being delivered when they're using that for navigation. For myself, I actually never have the voice on, so I'm not really going to tell a difference here because I'm not really going to use the new one. But for voice commands, this could be our first indication that they're going to get better at understanding us and better at talking back when doing things like texting. Reportedly, this is much faster and has a much more fluent, natural tone. Originally, this was arriving on newer vehicles, but then some older users were able to get it by factory resetting their car, but some have reported that even after doing that, they got the new voice and then it reverted back anyway. So I wouldn't go about doing that or factory resetting your car to try to get this. Let's just wait until it officially comes to every Tesla vehicle, which I'm sure it will in time, as long as the hardware can handle it. Some think that this could be the first indication of where Tesla plans to go in the future, integrating Grok into Tesla vehicles. Grok is Elon Musk's AI assistant over at X, so the idea here is that they would integrate that into Tesla vehicles, and maybe this new advanced voice is our first indication of what we could see in the future there. An updated AI version of that voice assistant in the Tesla would be really great, and might make it even better to use voice commands. Right now, a lot of people do prefer to use voice commands instead of engaging with the touchscreen, but I find that for the most part, voice commands are a little bit shoddy for me. So if they could vastly improve this with an AI that understands natural language, that would be really great to see. But what's great about all those features is they're coming to current Tesla owners, people who have cars now and have been buying them for the past few years. As far as new products, though, we have new leaks for the Tesla Model Y Juniper. The Juniper is the code name for the Model Y refresh that we're expecting to see within 2025, likely the very beginning. Next up, let's talk about today's sponsor, Recurrent. Recurrent is a free online platform designed by a team of battery scientists to analyze the range and health of your EV battery over time. Drivers can easily connect their car to get the latest vehicle insights into the battery history and an estimate of its overall health. Tesla owners also have access to their beta battery health module, which only collects data while you are charging, removing the phantom drain that other battery health services create. They have a huge data set of around 25,000 vehicles with more than 50 makes and models across all 50 states. Here's an example report of a 2023 Model Y, which lays out the car's expected range, real-world range, how much time is left on the warranty, and more. With Recurrent, EV owners make more money by showing that their battery is still going strong, and large auto auctions have found that including their vehicle insights increased the average sale price by $1,400. If you are looking to buy your first EV, then you can check the range, battery, and tax credit eligibility on tens of thousands of vehicles, all for free. Location data is never collected, personal data is never shared without your consent, and battery information is handled securely with end-to-end encryption. With Recurrent, we can buy, drive, and sell electric vehicles positively, so check them out by clicking the link in the description below. This is expected because we saw the Model 3 get a full refresh last year with the Model 3 Highland, and then it finally shipped this year in the United States. It brings a ton of improvements to that car, not just in how it looks, but in the quality of the ride and the cabin noise and stuff like that. So the Model Y at this point is somewhat behind. It's still a great car, and it's the world's best-selling car. And in fact, over in Europe, it was the best-selling car for September alone. But when comparing it to its cheaper sibling, the Model 3, there's actually a lot of stuff that the Model 3 has that we wish the Model Y had, and Tesla will be bringing those things out soon. There are many reasons why they have delayed this launch, and I think one big one is that they'll coordinate this out of all 4 of their factories, Shanghai, Berlin, Fremont, and Texas, in order to not have a staggered launch of this car. I think once people see the new Model Y out of China, people in the United States are going to absolutely wait to buy it, and Tesla may have a lot of inventory on their hands that they can't really get rid of. But we'll have to see how that goes. That was the technique that they did with the Model 3 launch, launching it in China and Europe first, and then bringing it months later to the United States. So we'll see if they change things with the Model Y since it's such a popular product. In any case, we've seen a number of leaks for this Model Y Juniper. First, we expect it to have all the things that they upgraded for the Model 3, but a number of leaked images are showing us that they could do a lot of different stuff with this design. First, we saw that rear light bar leaked, which was a big change from the Model 3 Highland. This light bar would streak across the whole back, and then we could also see that they lowered the license plate location as a result. That really changes the back look of this, and there are a lot of good renders out there that demonstrate exactly what this could look like. However, in the latest leaks, we're now getting information about the front end of the Model Y. Rumors have suggested that they may go with a front light bar, similar to the Robotaxi's front light bar design. In that case, you'd have the light bar and then likely headlights underneath it, like the Cybertruck, and the latest leaks are showing this. Various reports are saying that these images are coming from Spain or out of Tesla's Chinese factory in Shanghai, where they are undergoing production of about 15 test models per day in a closed loop. And here we can see there's a big change to the front end of this Model Y. There are 2 different lights shining through this cover, so it's obviously hiding a lot here, but it looks like that top light could very much indicate a light bar. It's somewhat of a sliver, and it probably sweeps across the whole front of that cover, and then underneath that is where the true headlights are, just like the Cybertruck. Then we got some more images of the Model Y loaded up onto a vehicle carrier. There's not a ton to see here, but one of the images does confirm that there are a bunch of different Model Ys, so they're producing a number of these each day and getting it ready for true production and deliveries. Then when we look at this image from behind, it does indicate a difference with those taillights. It seems to indicate that light bar, and then not only can we see that that rear license plate seems to be tacked on, but the rear camera has moved up in its positioning. Previously, this was sitting under the lip of the trunk, and now, since that lip is likely gone in this version of the Model Y, the rear camera has been moved up, as we can see with the cutout from this cover. So these are definitely some big changes to the Model Y, but overall we can tell that Tesla really only is changing the interior to upgrade it, likely with the Model 3 refresh, and then they're changing details in the front and rear. Obviously, the side doors are not changing at all, and they have no need to cover those up. Here's a great render from Dominic BRNKMN, and he's done a lot of great renders of the Model 3 refresh when we were expecting that, and then the Model Y Juniper every time we see another leak. In this case, this seems to be most likely what this will look like. I wouldn't be surprised if the light bar fills out a little more than is indicated with this render, but it does seem like we'll have the light bar sweeping across the full front end of the Model Y, with those lights below it somewhat like what the fog lights used to be. As far as the shape of the front bumper, if Tesla's going the same direction that they went with the Model 3, this is likely the performance bumper, and then they'll have more of a smoothed out version on the other trims of this car, but we'll have to see. It does seem like Tesla's changing a lot for this Model Y refresh, so they might change the bumper entirely from the Model 3 and really distinguish those two cars, which I think would be great to see. Instead of what it used to be, where the Model 3 was one car and the Model Y was just a bigger version of that car, they could be two very distinguished cars at this point. Either way, I do like the look of this, and I do appreciate that Tesla would take some design elements from the robotaxi and put it onto a vehicle that they're currently making. The timeline for this, even though we're seeing these leaks out of China now and real production going, is still 2025. It seems that Tesla might be iterating over in China, planning to copy and paste that to their other factories, and then wait to truly launch in January, maybe with some backed up inventory, but we'll have to see. The one thing I will say is that this Model Y render does look a little bit like the Chevy Blazer EV from the front. Obviously, there are more details to that Blazer EV in the bumper, and a lot more curves and such, but it does remind me of the design of that car quite a bit, and that obviously would be something Tesla is looking out for. I wouldn't be surprised if it's close to this render, but if it's a little more refined. Either way, it's Tesla's most popular car, so I'm excited to see it finally getting in line with the Model 3 refresh and then potentially taking it to the next level. Next up today, Tesla is running a number of incentives across the board for their Model 3 and Y, and it's really impressive. If you're in the market right now, it could be a really great time to buy, and they're likely doing a lot of these incentives for the Model Y, as customers are eagerly awaiting that car I just talked about. In any case, you first have the $7,500 federal tax credit. This is available for both the Model 3 and Model Y in all trims. Then Tesla is fully offering the full self-driving transfer once again. So if you're a current Tesla owner and you have the full self-driving package and you didn't want to upgrade because you don't want to pay $8,000 again and then lose that full self-driving package with your old car, here you now have the option to transfer that, and you can transfer it to any model that they sell, Model S, 3, X, or Y, or the Cybertruck, which is something brand new. Previously, you couldn't transfer to the Cybertruck, and now they are treating that more like a normal vehicle. So if you are upgrading from a Model Y with full self-driving to a Cybertruck, you can instead get the normal priced one and then transfer FSD to save some money on that purchase. The stipulation there is that you must take delivery by the end of the year. And that stipulation also applies for their 0% interest financing. This is an incredible deal for the Model Y in particular, and also the Model 3. Initially, Tesla was running this deal and only offering 0% interest if you purchase the full self-driving package, but now they're running it for the normal base price of the car. And this can really save you a lot of money over current interest rates, or just help you spread out the cost of your car that you were already going to buy. If you're going for that full 0% deal, you can do this for 60 months on the Model Y, or for the Model 3, you can only do it up to 36 months. To put this all into some perspective, let's take a long-range all-wheel drive Model Y. With a rough math here, you'd be saving yourself about $7,011.75 by financing for 60 months at 0% compared to the previous rates of 5.29%, which were already a bit lower than industry averages. If you were instead going to get a performance Model Y, you're going to be saving about $7,551.76 with these new APR rates. The savings aren't quite as steep with a Model 3 since you can't get the same 0% over extended periods of time. It's only for 36 months, but you will still be saving a ton by financing that way instead of financing for, say, 72 or 84 months with high interest rates. But when you really look at how these all stack up, it's pretty incredible what these savings can be. If the car typically costs $47,990, financing would have brought you up to about $56,374.60 with some fees. Instead, here it's marked down to $44,170. You get $500 off of that and 0% financing, all of that saving you about $12,704.60. Factor in the tax credit on top of that, another $7,500, and you're about $20,000 cheaper than you would have paid if you didn't qualify for these things or didn't take advantage of 0% APR. So in practice, this brings monthly payment down by quite a lot, which is oftentimes the most important for many people buying. And this brings it under $600 for 60 months. I will say to look at the other deals because if you need to spread it out over more months in any case, there are still great deals like a 0.99%, 1.99%, 2.99%, and more that is still much better than what they used to be offering at 5.29 or higher. With that said, it does require a 20% down payment, so the tax credit can definitely help out with that, or you'll have to pay a little more up front, but then get 0% interest. In practice, this can save you up to something like $8,000 depending on what trim of Tesla you are buying. It's really a great deal, even though it doesn't seem that exciting up front. If you understand how much interest you will be paying on these cars over the course of the loan, this saves so much money. At the same time as this deal, Tesla is offering free premium options on the Model X. If you purchase FSD with a Model X, you can also select premium options like the 6-seat interior for free. So in that case, it kind of makes FSD cost effective and gives those options a discount for you. This all has to do with tax credit eligibility, which is why they're offering it. And it's the same for the Model 3 Performance. If you purchase FSD with a Performance Model 3, you get the paint upgrade for free. If you're in the military, Tesla is offering $1,000 off, and this applies to all models, including the Cybertruck, with no limit on the quantity that you buy. For inventory vehicles, Tesla is offering some pretty steep discounts. Some of them are available near you for imminent delivery at up to $4,000 off. So that's absolutely something to check. If you have the car that you know you want, you can check their inventory page first to see if you can find your exact vehicle close by your location, available today for cheaper, still brand new, or you can go in there to find something similar to what you want and save a lot of money. Along with those inventory vehicles, they're also offering a free 1-year subscription to premium connectivity, which is about a $100 savings. It's always important to look at all the incentives that are available here, because in certain states, it can be pretty crazy how cheap these cars can get. For instance, in Colorado, they're one of the most EV-friendly states. You can get a Quicksilver long-range rear-wheel drive Model Y for $25,350. This is a car that is normally priced at $46,990. The way you get down to that cheap price is $7,500 of the federal EV tax credit, a $5,350 state rebate, a $3,290 inventory discount, $5,000 in referral credits, and $500 of additional referral discounts. So that is one other deal I didn't mention prior, $500 off if you use someone's referral link when purchasing your Tesla. Having $5,000 of referral credits is also pretty specific here, so you may be looking at something more like $30,000, but still that's an incredible deal for a Model Y. And not all of these incentives will apply to everybody, but it's a good example of just how cheap these cars can get if you look in the right ways. You may find that you actually apply for more programs than you expected, or Tesla's inventory discount is steeper than you expected, and this car could make a lot of sense for you when taking advantage of things like 0% APR. Next up today, after Tesla's earnings call, Wall Street responded very positively, and Tesla's stock has been up about 20%. Tesla's Q3 results exceeded all of Wall Street's expectations, and it showed that they grew in earnings, improved their profit margins, and recorded low production costs. In fact, the lowest production costs that they have recorded. So while Tesla is really focused on their future, they're also executing incredibly well right now. People are definitely excited about the future that Tesla is laying out with the Cybercab potentially entering volume production in 2026 if Tesla can make that timeline. I do think some people doubt that, but they are still very confident in Tesla's ability to do something in this space quite soon. Tesla detailed that they are already testing this with safety drivers up in the Bay Area with employees. And then for current cars and current production, they expect growth within the fourth quarter and then to grow about 20 to 30% within 2025. That will likely be aided by the Model Y Juniper refresh, along with whatever these affordable models that they plan to make are. That will likely be some variation on the Model Y that's a little smaller, at least according to rumors. Either way, it's impressive to see. There was a lot of mixed results after Tesla's We Robot event, with some people saying it's just ridiculous, it's just a show, but then a couple weeks later, Tesla comes out with incredible results, showing that they're executing incredibly well, even while spending a lot on this future vision. Next up today, the Tesla Model 3 Performance has officially released. It's been out for a couple months now, and now third parties are testing it to show how great it really is in the real world. Tesla quotes a 2.9-second 0 to 60 in the Model 3 Performance. Inside, there are upgrades like a carbon fiber strip on the dashboard, those upgraded sport seats, of course, the upgraded motors and functionality there, and then the front bumper is different along with the rear diffuser and spoiler. As for the 0 to 60 time, Tesla lists 2.9 seconds, but Car and Driver actually recorded a 2.8 second 0 to 60 with their Tesla Model 3 Performance. The quarter mile time has improved over previous years to 11 seconds with a top speed of 125 miles per hour. Previous models did this at 11.6 seconds at 115 miles per hour. Then a few other benchmarks from there really show how much better this car is at speeds above 60. The latest Model 3 Performance reached 100 miles per hour in 6.8 seconds, which is 1.4 seconds faster than the previous model. That may not sound like much, but the gap only widens from here. At 130 miles per hour, it did it in 12.3 seconds, 3.9 seconds faster than the previous model, and it reached 150 miles per hour in 18.3 seconds, which is 8.7 seconds faster than the previous Model 3 Performance. They're recording that the new motors increased peak torque by 16% and horsepower by 32%, and that the dual motor setup enhances continuous power output by 22%. Essentially, this car is unmatched, especially within its price point, and even at its price point, it qualifies for the $7,500 tax credit. So yes, Tesla's very focused on driverless cars in the future, but for the ones that you can drive yourself today, they're proving to be incredibly effective. I've been driving this Model 3 Performance for a couple weeks now, and I agree with all of the conclusions made by third parties that this is a really great car, especially at its price point. I have a full review coming out on that soon, so I'm excited to release that. That's all the latest Tesla and EV news for today. So in the meantime, if you want to see a full video from Tesla's recent earnings call and all the details that they have for future cars, you can check out that video linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.